Now, uh, a quick overview of the difference between real world and virtual world teaching. The basic part of real world is that we are all used to it. It's a three-dimensional figure with sight and sound right in front of you. It gives student a different kind of comfort. It also scares them. In real world, they can't just open the door and run in front of you because there's a physical presence. Also, your body language and your facial expressions, everything is more clear. At times, you're not even looking at a person. Since you're looking at in the direction, all the 8, 10 kids in the direction will be hushed. That doesn't happen here. Why? Because the students are not used to this. So it takes some time and slightly more engagement points for them to realize, no, you are there. Not only there, you have a better control on them. And that's what we are going to look at momentarily. What are the advantage of the virtual world? The sound is very clear. So nobody can just mumble an answer and go away. However, it is a challenge for us too, because each and every word, each and every breath, pause we take is being heard very clearly. And students are judgmental. So it is a good idea if we kind of forget something or this thing, just apologize and go on and not try to ignore it as if they would have not heard. The second most important mistake, and guys, this is something that I have been saying as a mistake being repeated by the best people. I had a session with IIT Bombay people a couple of days back. And what I realized that even they are doing this mistake of running a PPT without interaction. Guys, PPT is a deal breaker if there is no interaction. Because it's a monologue, people get bored, and they already, once they've read the PPT, there's nothing more you are adding to it, right? So presentations, yes, very important, but they need to be taken care of very diligently. In fact, as much as possible, let the student present. You can always have your input, have your own presentation in the background to validate the student. But don't go for presentations as long as they are not required. So except for diagrams or complex things, talk to them. Talk to them. Second, students hate sermons. So everything needs to be short, if not sweet. Anything. So I'll give you a very quick data. Unfortunately, data is not from India. It is still coming from US and Europe, that in case a teacher speaks to a student more than 2 minutes, he or she has already lost 20%. Every 30 seconds more than that, they keep on losing 20. And after 3.5 minutes, they have lost everybody except those 1 or 2 really brilliant students who want to listen to them. So it's generally a good idea not to have a sermon. So how do we change it? A very simple change is to start your sessions with a hook. Hook can be a real life incident. It can be a scene from a popular book. No, I don't think kids or majority of them read book, but it can be a part of a good sitcom or movie and all, and then relate it to your topic. Now, this clip needs to be interesting, but it cannot be humorous. Because once your class starts laughing, it will take you at least 4 to 5 minutes to get them back. So the first thing is, any lecture, irrespective, needs to have a strong hook. Even if you are doing a mathematical problem related to life, I mean, give an incident of yourself that maybe your son, your daughter, brother, sister wanted some money, and then because of thing, ATM didn't get out, whatever. Make a relatable story. The moment you do that, you have their attention. Secondly, and we have tried it different ways, guys, try not to have a virtual class more than 30 students. I know it's very difficult for some of you, or maybe all of you, but it's better to take shorter sessions rather than having more participants. Why? Because with 30 students, you'll be able to have one or two touch points with each of them. And that brings me to my next point, that whether you were talking to them during regular lectures or not, you need to make sure that everyone talks. Even if it's a word, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, or you're correct, that's fine. Make them talk. This thing. So, two touch points are very important. Another part, have them switch on their videos all the time. All the time. Because it's very easy for me. Even I have been in like hundreds of video conferencing even before the world move on to the virtual world. I mean, in United Nations, most of our countries were at remote location. We were not able to visit them. All of our meetings used to happen through some very complex video or audio platforms. Most of the efficiency of video calls were double or triple more than the efficiency of the audio calls, especially with multiple stakeholders, because like others, we can always put our mic on mute, go for a coffee, or just get lost. I mean, we are still listening, but we are not engaged. But once the video is on, whether you are looking at them or not, there is a pressure. And here comes my next point, that pick up random people to talk. Now, this will be the most difficult part for all of you. As a teacher, even I have faced this challenge, that how do I keep on looking at multiple windows while talking about my subject? It's not as difficult as it sounds. Yes, first couple of lectures are going to be a bit weird, but try to look at all the participants. Like right now, I'm scrolling my top bar to see that how many participants are there on video, how many participants are there just in as a name and all. So you can do it. All I'm saying is it takes a bit of practice, but you can do it. And there are many benefits to be reaped from that. The moment your students know that you are looking, they'll be there. And if by chance you are able to catch one default, just one, you don't need not have many, you will be all ears. See, one thing you need to understand, you need to get them for only one or max two interesting lectures. They need you more than they realize they do. They have nothing better to do at home right now. They have exhausted all the media posts and all. Their friends are equally bored. Well, media is very intriguing, charming, exciting when somebody is stopping you, when you have rest of the world. Now they have realized when they don't have rest of the world, media is not so interesting. So you find people are their only connect with the rest of the world. You are the only guides they have, because their internal support system, which was already a bit skewed, is not there altogether. Two good sessions, you have my personal guarantee that your students are going to be with you throughout. That is really, really important. There is another thing. Uh, I really don't know how much that is possible, because in all the institutes that I have been consulting, I've asked them to have at least another coordinator to assist the teachers. Coordinator need not be there throughout, but coordinator is an extra aid. Even if the coordinator can be there for 10 minutes and keep on picking those discipline breakers, you'll see suddenly the attention increases a lot and the discipline prevails. So again, I'll leave it to discretion of you find people, but having a coordinator in a session has helped. And I'm saying has helped because we have enough proof of concept that a session having a coordinator is much better received, especially first two sessions. Okay, once you go deep into your sessions, like sixth or seventh, it's okay not to have a coordinator, because by now students are already engaged. In fact, you'll be surprised. It will be so difficult to keep them quiet. So yeah, you may still need a coordinator, but for a very different and much more positive reason, this thing. So that is very important. Next point, that in your class, your deliverable for that hour or 2 hours need to be very clearly defined. I'll give you an example, a basic example, that after we finish this session, I expect all the participants to know better about online teaching and have the basics of do's and don'ts along with the examples with you when you go out. So this is about this session. About your any session, I mean, let's talk about language. That I really don't know whether language is a subject in most of the colleges. So let me take commerce. So if you have a session on balance sheet, after this session, you will be able to understand a balance sheet better, balance a balance sheet better, read it better, draw conclusions. Whatever you're saying have to be very clear. See, in real world, where their attention span is actually divided, they have many other things to do, so they don't care whether things are defined or not. But in virtual world, it gives them a feeling of importance that, okay, this is what I'm learning of otherwise my boring day, where I had nothing else to do. So setting up the period objective is very important. Setting up the term objective is equally important. That after 20 sessions, say you'll be able to understand microeconomics of South Asian countries. Right? Now, this is a very specific statement. And what happens is both you and students will have something to hold on to throughout the session. And end of the sessions, you can always give them that extra nudge of being closer to their target. It helps. See, one thing which is brilliant about online medium is that if I'm talking to you, I am talking to you, I can't multitask. And believe you me, once you've got the students, if they are listening to you, they are listening to you. They will not be talking to their parents. They will not be answering their girlfriend, boyfriends, or this thing. They won't be looking into fashion things because they know they can do it after the class. Yes, they knew it even before in the real world, but then they had friends and other distractions. So they can actually keep themselves busy without coming back to work. Here, they don't. So it's very critical to define the objective.